What's up guys, Joking Bradley here and welcome to another episode of Road to Rank, where I climb the online ladder, provide like commentary as I go. As you can see, this time, finally I'm back from my studies, even if I'm basically working and studying for the summer exams. But I have enough time to restart my Road to Rank series, especially with the new ladder incoming. So I'm already in 230s if I remember well, and this time we are gonna use our Aramia Templar deck, which is a new addition with the recent updates to the format. So let's jump first in deck list. I will see Aramia. With her hero power we can gather our item, which I'll explain later. So we have Sabrine, which is nice 2 damage haste with the discard and 2 damage option. The Knight of Anaxio, basically the key of our deck. We're going to haste this thing, which is not actually haste but ready, which is another thing and very important for the strategy of this deck. And discard an ability and give +2 attacks +1 health, which is a lot. And of course this creature is steadfast, which means that you can bounce it to the hand. One Word of Prophet. Word of Prophet is actually used in combo with Justicar Escape. So we are gonna mulligan the card we don't need if we don't have any Justicar Escape in our hand. Otherwise, we're going to put those cards, those Justicar Escape in our deck, and we can use the Aramia Hero Power to gather them and use for our combo. For Moment of Acquiescence, which is a really extremely good card, which lasts 3 turns, and you can discard an ability to deal basically 2 damage and disable an ally for 1 turn. So the key of this deck is disable opponent's allies and attack with a very huge Knight of Anaxio. 3 retreat, of course, to disable the opponent's strategy. 4 Bad Santa. Mandatory for Fireball, Lightning Strike, and Supernova, which are our bolts and discard abilities, and 1 Legend Rises to keep control of the field even if my opponent drops a crippling blow on the Knight of Anaxio, and of course 3 Justicar Escape, which is the key of this deck. So target ability in your hand is discarded, target friendly ally Templar is readied and has arcane attack. So readied means a lot more than hasted. Hasted can be blocked by Braxton, while readied, an ally can be readied more than once in a turn, and moreover, yeah, it's basically this. Moreover, this Justicar Escape discards an ability from our hand, which is really nice with the new Sosilos Borders Landing, which on turn 4 allows you to draw 2 cards for each ability discarded at the end of the turn. Also location, but yeah, with our deck we are not going to discard location, which are of course really important. Sometimes we're going to discard the location with Sabrine, but it is basically the only card which can discard an ally location. Otherwise, all of our cards are going to discard an ability. So let's jump fast in our matches. So we're gonna do a couple of matches. Of course I am 234 and yeah, quite low. I tried this deck in the previous season in the 300 and I basically got 314 in 40 minutes. So I won a ton of matches, and yeah, this deck also is really fast and really hard to counter, but there are some cards that quite counter bad this deck in my opinion, like Ankle Breaker, of course. So if your Knight of Anaxio attacks into an Anchor Breaker, of course it is disabled for 2 turns basically, because the turn you are going to attack the next one and the following one. And yeah, this is of course not nice. You can't ready a disabled ally, of course. So let's see what we're gonna do in this match. We drop the Moment of Acquiescence even if our opponent doesn't have any ally, because Moment of Acquiescence, when it destroyed, draws an extra card, which is really nice. So let's see. What are we going to? Yeah, we're going to draw. This deck really relies on the power of the location, so we absolutely want the location to drop down quite fast. So let's see if our opponent drops in an ally. Yeah, Night Owl is not really strong against us, because we can basically drop the Sabrine, go for the 2 damage, and drop an ability to kill it. So our opponent didn't really make a nice use of Night Owl, but of course he didn't know that we had the Sabrine. So we draw some 1 card, but that's not really important, because in the following turn we are going to use our Bad Santa for sure. So if we draw our location, we are pretty much set up for our combo. Also this deck, oh, Radiant Sunlight, what? Also she has, wow, that was insane. So we're going to draw. We have our location, so we're just going to attack. And let me think. This is really annoying to deal with. So I can drop my Justicar Escape for now. So we're going to rely on Sabrine, and yeah, I'm going to mulligan some things. And even our Knight of Anaxio. Wow, we draw 2 Justicar Escape, which is not quite what we wanted. But what you can do now is, oh no. So yeah, our opponent trying to steal. He stole 1 Justicar Escape, which is of course really annoying for us. What we're going to do? I can't discard this Justicar Escape, of course. So what can I do here is I go for an attack. I can retreat my own Sabrine to reuse it in the following turn. But well, that location is absolutely annoying, so we're going to deal 2 extra damage. And yeah, now our plan is, even if we can't drop a big Knight of Anaxio, he has to use the weapon to go for the Sabrine, the last use of his weapon. And yeah, the following turn we can use our Hero Power for the Justicar Escape and see if we can go for another Knight of Anaxio, which is of course really nice. Even if our opponent discards the cape, we have another cape on our deck, and we can go for our combo right now. So yeah, I'm going to keep the Knight of Anaxio. If I remember well, there is another cape. So yeah, this deck list is of course really nice, but it really needs some adjustments. Like, I don't know if I want to use 4 Justicar Escape instead of 3. Maybe instead of the mulligan card. I don't know. I really don't know. But right now we are in a really nice spot, because our opponent basically cannot interact with us. So we can just pump up our Knight of Anaxio. Maybe we can discard a Sozilo. We of course want to keep 1. So, I really don't know. Do I want to discard my burn spells? Nah. Or yeah. Yeah, I want to draw 2 extra cards. I'm going to discard a Supernova. And yeah, we're basically going to burn him down. This is absolutely important for this deck. So we have 2 Sabrine, Knight of Anaxio. If he has to kill this Knight of Anaxio, otherwise in the following turn we win. Even if we don't have an ability, he might think that we have an ability. So he has to deal with this Knight of Anaxio. And because we have 7 damage, and yeah, of course he drops the Ankle Breaker and the Agent Rex. Wow. Cool deck. And yeah, if we draw a couple of burn spell, we win. Also, we can drop another Knight of Anaxio to put him into a really bad spot, or we can sacrifice a Sabrine. So it basically has to deal with something here. Also, I can discard 1 card with Sabrine, the location, if it doesn't drop another location, and we we can draw a couple of extra cards. Of course, this deck really mills him down, and yeah, quite nice, of course. So let's see, he's going to kill the Knight of Onyxia. No, he's going to make me discard one card. So he has some plan, maybe. So this thing is steadfast, so there are not so many things that a rogue owns to... Well, he basically surrenders. Yeah. And we are taking this match. So yeah, sorry if I'm not 300 for this episode, but I didn't have much time to climb. So we're going to jump in the second match and see if this deck, if we can encounter some nice opponent. So we are against a Lance, which is quite a scary matchup. So he can haste his allies, and yeah, sometimes becomes really hard to deal with, especially because rogues have the ankle breaker, and Lance can, with these fat creatures, drop a ton of damage in really not so much time. So I don't know, probably I want to keep one Supernova and go for a Bid Santa. So the fact that we have the one drop and a Bid Santa really puts us in a awesome spot. So I'm probably going to discard the Supernova and keep the Moment of Acquiescence, or maybe discard the Fireball. Yeah, I'm probably going to discard the Fireball. So we have a lot of tools here. I'm going to attack with Sabrine, and if I remember well, the following turn the Moment of Acquiescence draws us 2 cards, which is absolutely nice. And the following turn we can also drop the Sozilla to deal with his 3-drop, and hope he doesn't have a location of something, because with 60 card decks is probably your opponent has location. Right now location are more playable, and in my opinion a lot of decks can be discovered, ice decks, Templar decks, and a lot of stuff like that. There are a lot of things that might be discovered in these times. So yeah, I expect a lot of stuff to come out. Yeah, we have a Bid Santa, we have the Retreat. We have a lot of things, actually. We can also try to draw some cards here. Like, I kill that stuff. I can go for... Yeah, I want to keep the Retreat. And yeah, I'm basically drawing 4 cards here and keeping the Sabrine. And the following turn we can use Sabrine plus the Knight of Onyxia to deal a ton of damage to our opponent. Also we have the Moment of Acquiescence. We can also discard this Retreat to a possible creature our opponent puts on the board. So even if the creature is tilted, the Moment of Acquiescence take care of it. So in my opinion we are in a pretty nice spot. So we have 7 cards. The next turn we drop 1, discard 2, and we draw 4. So we discard 1 with the resource pile. So yeah, this deck curves really amazing. So you basically cycle all your deck. You can discard the card you don't need, both burn spells or retreats, for example. Yeah, my opponent right now is not playing much stuff. So what we can do is just discard all the retreats and put our opponent in a really bad spot here. We're gonna haste our Knight of Onyxia, which is not haste but ready, which is quite different but also really important to notice. And yeah, we're doing 7 damage. And if the point of this deck is, if you have a Justicar Escape and Knight of Onyxia on the board, which was on the board from the previous turn, you can basically deal 7 plus 9 damage, which is a ton of damage to our opponent. 15 damage is basically one half of his health. And taking care of 5-6 on turn 4 with Steadfast is not something that every hero can do. So in this case, maybe Lance or another rogue can actually deal with 1 Knight of Onyxia. But what if the next turn I drop another Knight of Onyxia and attack you? What you're going to do to deal with this? So yeah, basically our opponent, oh, okay, is gonna turn our into 0 attack. So what is this? Yeah, reduce it to, wow, nice. But now he has no. So what we are going to do, we are going to discard his ability, and we're going to discard his ability. Oh yeah, well, wow, okay. We're going to ready this, use the ability to, well, I'm going to keep this. Also because we're drawing a lot of cards. So the following turn, where he basically wants to 0 attack this and attack this, but there is not much he can do. We draw a lot of cards. Maybe, yeah, we can do this. We can disable this, and we draw basically full hand, and the next turn is basically done. Probably we draw another Justicar Escape. No, we don't, but we have a ton of damage in our hands. We have 7 plus 3, 2, which is 8. Okay, he has the Spirit Shuriken, so we can deal with the 3-5, but yeah, it's not quite enough. We have enough damage to close this match, of course. So I probably wants to attack into the Justicar Escape to break it. But yeah, there is not much more he can do, actually. So we can just discard the Sabrine. Oops. Discard the Sabrine. This card is a Legend Rises, which is not really useful against him. And it's basically 7 damage. Yeah. Yeah, quite an interesting match, even if our opponent was not at 300. I think I quite explained how this deck works. It is not so much difficult, as you notice. The only thing you have to care of is to keep the Justicar Escapes on the board, and try to drop your combo and draw your pieces as much as possible, as fast as possible. Like you need 1 Knight of Anaxio at least, 1 location, and 1 location. Yeah, you basically need those 2 pieces, and with the 4/1 drops that in at turn 3 draw 1 extra card, and with the Bad Santa you're basically, well, I can't say that you are guaranteed to draw those cards, but you're much likely to do at turn 4. So yeah, this deck looks like quite consistent, in my opinion, to be, I don't know if it is a tier 1, but at least tier 1.5 or tier 2. And yeah, is in the threat location of decks, where you maybe don't expect it's this deck, but sometimes you have to think, hey, maybe my opponent used this deck, I can be in a really hard trouble, especially with against decks that don't have a response to a steadfast creator. So rogues are the best counters to this deck, but other decks that basically are not warrior, so Boris kinda counters this deck, but this deck has also the backup plan of going burn, so you have to take care of this possibility. Your opponent has 3 Sabrines, which are of course really nice to deny your allies. Also 4 cards that deny to disable your opponent allies, location to deny opposing location. So you basically draw more than your opponent. So if your opponent only has 4 location, you're basically guaranteed to win the location war. And yeah, I think I explained much this deck. As you can see, it is quite easy, even if it might play in a couple of versions. Of course, every mage burn, and the other quite aggro, and then finish with burn, which is quite a standard mage. But yeah, this is quite a mage that use different tools to deal with the opponent. Of course, there are some more decks that will feature in the next episode. One of them is the new Raika combo, which in my opinion deserves a shot. And this is quite nice. I came up with the decent list, which might not be a threat in the QM, because of there are some decks that are quite used that counter this build in particular, but decks used in tournament, like fat decks, are basically guaranteed to lose against this deck, because you draw fast your deck and you flood your opponent's hand, so you basically stop his draw engines if your opponent can't keep up, and then you drop a combo which basically can't be stopped. The only thing that can stop this combo is the Spelliter bands or a very big armor, but of course you have tools to deal with those things. And yeah, you will see. Another deck quite nice which uses this combo is, well, the combo of Aramia is Yetan, which quite revived the Yetan in my opinion, which is of course really nice because you can attack 2 times with the Onaxio, the Templar Onaxio, of course. And yeah, quite nice decks to be featured in the next episode. Hope you enjoyed, guys. Be sure to put a like on the channel and to the video. I'd really appreciate it. Bye, guys.